Hello, welcome back. Today is a little departure. Well, almost every day in the studio is a little departure, right? So, one's going to be a bit romantic, but then again, so's the season. So, every year, intrinsically for our anniversary, but all depends on how you want to count one's anniversary. And for Bridget and I, we count our anniversary based on the day I asked her to marry me, or if she wanted to get married, I think is what I said. I said, do you want to get married? Her really wonderful, now classic response is, she never said yes. She said when. So, and we did that, never being one to plan ahead. We did that while watching the Olympics the day before Thanksgiving. No, not Thanksgiving. What am I talking about? The day before Valentine's Day. So the 13th. And we decided, and she said when, not yes, but when. I said, well, how about April Fool's Day? She liked that idea. Plus, why wait? It'd be 8 or 9 weeks. And so in our minds, that was the day we got married, because that was the day we decided to get married. That was 83 years ago. 83. God, that was in 1980. 43 years ago. So now, every year hence, or I don't actually know when we actually started doing it, but we each make each other a Valentine's Day or Anniversary Day prize, each using our specific skill sets. So what I came up with for this year, and they've been very many different things. My favorite story was for our 40th. Yeah, that works, right? And in this case, it was on the actual anniversary, the day we got married. So I finished that part of the story. So we decide that's what we're going to do. And Bridget calls her mother to tell her. And she's like, oh, that's very nice. Oh, that's great. Oh, congratulations. And then 2 days later, she calls back, her mother does, to say, okay, your bands have been announced. You're going to get married on the 22nd of August. And do you want to get married in the morning or the night? And we decided, well, it's going to be August, so let's get married at night. And then, but this wasn't really what we had in mind for ourselves, a wedding and, bridesmaids and all that kind of stuff. But it's clearly her mother wanted. And she being the eldest daughter, we really didn't feel like we could say no. But it wasn't what we wanted, so we kind of went, okay, well, if that's what you want, that's fine. We'll show up. And that was the extent of our planning. So we have 2 different anniversaries. When we decided to get married, and thus in our minds were married, and also the 22nd of August, which is more traditional counting point. The day we announced to the world that we wanted to be husband and wife. So, now back to the other part of that story. So for our 40th anniversary, I was working on a stained glass piece, and Bridget was waiting for a kidney transplant for which we were doing a paired exchange. I was going to donate a kidney, and at the same time, someone else would donate one that would go to her, and mine would go off to somebody else. So we've been waiting a long time, years, 3, I think. And while I was working on the piece, just before our anniversary, and it was a stained glass piece that had kidney beans involved, and I was gluing kidney beans onto the frame when we got the call from the transplant center that she had a kidney. And 4.5 weeks later, off we went. So every year we do something. She does these beautiful written word pieces with her drawing style that I love. But so this year I decided it would be fun because I had this little strip of linoleum block left from the Christmas card that there's a video of. And I thought, well, let's make a little stamp. And so what this image is going to be, see if you can see it, is a little bonbon. You know, the same kind of chocolates that come in the those boxes of Valentine's Day candies. And I thought what I would do, I'm switching blades now, so that's the really sharp V blade. But when you're cutting out larger areas, this U blade works a little better. So now I just want to carve out the rest of this. And then so my idea is to print this little stamp that I'm making 43 times on this watercolor paper that's sitting right here. And the pencil's laying there because I'm going to do a little sketch of a rose. And the idea, first I thought, well, what I would do is do the 47, and then I'm actually still not sure which way I'm going to do it. Whether I'm going to do the 47 bonbons and then sorry, I'm trying to make sure I do this right and not cut off my fingers at the same time. I've never carved this little of a block before. So I'm not quite sure if I'm going to do the rose in watercolor with these kind of surrounding it in a grid pattern, or if I'm going to do the whole grid part and then do a rose over top of it in oil stick. So just like the marriage proposal, I'm winging it. So, and I know I talked about it in the linoleum block print, the Christmas card print, that when you print, when you card the print, whatever the raised surface is will be a color. Black and that's what I intend. And whatever you cut away will, of course, not print, thus being white, thus being, or the paper, whatever color paper you use. So There's the teeny little block. And again, the idea is that we'll go across the surface here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 1, of course, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then 1 extra, 6 times. See, you got to use math in your artwork. So 6 times 7 is 42, but I need 43. And because doing this, I'm going to realize I want the whole grid. So I'm going to have to paint either over the grid, either watercolor or paint stick, so I'm going to decide the medium. Now, I'm going to have to pause because I thought I had ink in here somewhere, but I don't. So the next stop is off to the art supply store. Before I do that, I'll remind you that to please subscribe, give it a thumbs up if you like what you're watching, and I'll be back with some ink in a little bit. All right, back from the art store. It's convenient that I have one close by. For all of you who have to order something online, wait for it to show up, I'm sorry for you. But for me, my only chagrin is I have to cross the river. So we're just going to roll out this ink. So hopefully this is going to, this is the fun thing, and this is something I always encourage everyone, professional, amateur, somewhere in between. Try something new. Try something you're not used to. There's no point in doing the same thing over and over. Says the guy who paints hundreds of watercolors a season, but they're different paintings every time. So we're going to see if this is going to work. I think I might even do a test print. So just a quick inking. Of course, I just did that off camera, didn't I? So we've just inked it up a little bit. Here's a scrap piece of paper. All right, I think that's going to work. So again, roll it out, roll the ink on there. One. Pooperoonies. Oh well. I'm not happy with that print. May have to apply a little more pressure. Two. Ruh-roh. Well, that doesn't help. Trying to figure out what I'm doing wrong here, folks. Like I said, not tried this before. I think I'm not getting an even pressure. Because, again, like you've seen with the linoleum print Christmas card, it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, So we're going to rock it a little more. Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay. We're going to go with it. So I'll spare you the suffering. Switch to time lapse. All right. You know, I always notice that commentators do those deep intakes of breath before they start speaking, and apparently so do I. So just about done printing these. I quadruple checked my math. So 7 rows by 6 rows is 42. And then there'll be one more, one extra bonbon. Now, clearly the prints aren't clear, or clearly, unclearly, whatever. So I was thinking about embellishing anyway, with a few exceptions. You can't really tell what they are. That one's pretty good. So that was a bit of a disappointment. Didn't get exactly what I had planned, but again, art making, as the person who this piece is dedicated to so wisely coined, art making is striving, oh, that one's pretty good, for imperfection. So now this is water-based ink, but it will still probably take about a day to dry, particularly in these conditions. So I will not be able to get back to this until sometime tomorrow. That will be the 13th, which is the significant day. All right, so that's 43. So I'm going to have to be patient and wait for these to be done. So this is step A. Now these are little chocolate bonbons. Ironically, it printed pretty well on the scrap paper. So I'm wondering if part of the problem was the tooth of the watercolor paper. But, you know, that's okay. So I don't think I'll post this until tomorrow so we can see the completed piece when it's completed. Make sense? All right. So check back with you later. So I'm not sure how I feel about these results. But I think embellishing will work. So, you know, we're going to check that. But in the interim, I thought I'd go back to the, you know, this is sort of a crafter's idea technique anyway. So this is ink it up. I'm actually just doing an ink stamp. So giving myself options here. You know, why should I show you all the successes? Why not show you a couple of fails? So we'll pop back in and do this again. See how it works. Kind of liking it. I think I'm kind of liking the color too. So I'm going to just press on with this and then wait for things to dry, either tonight or tomorrow. Finish it all up. We'll see. So don't you just love it when life gets in the way of making art? Even though making art is definitely living. So this week, this idea was supposed to go in. I'd hoped to deliver this on Valentine's Day. Here we are 1 week prior. Give it to my wife. So the idea, first off, the stamps didn't work out as well as I'd hoped. So here I am coming back in, adding the detail that the stamps didn't provide, and I'm also discovering that the water-soluble ink remains water-soluble, but that's okay. I know I've talked about it before, but embracing the mistake, particularly with watercolors, but in all art, is finding that balance between perfection and creativity. So like if you look at all the Warhol prints done with photographic sources, they're still not right. And that's good. And that's where the art making comes in. Of course, now with this being soluble, when I get to the white that I want to do, it's going to be a bit of a problem. Now, as you may recall, I also did these ink, like blotter ink, from stamping, from crafting, and I'm not sure they're going to provide me with what I want either. So, well, you know, the thing is, it's going to be an original one-of-a-kind piece. So I'm going to just keep working on this. I'll switch it to time-lapse. Since I'm probably going to split this into several videos, I will, of course, ask you to leave a comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you like about these. Tell me what you need to know. Tell me if you think I'm on a fool's errand. And of course, if you want to see these videos as they pop up, I try to do them once a week, except for during bike racing season. But, you know, so, oh, I never got to why I didn't get things done. So my poor mother had been feeling sick. We had been in the first week of February, had started the week at the ER with her trying to figure out why her breathing was so bad and she was so weak. Well, it didn't improve over the week, so we spent the day after I started these back in the ER. That turned out to be a 10-hour experience, and she was diagnosed with pneumonia. And so I spent pretty much every day last week hanging out in the hospital, except for when I had to work. And of course, taking care of my wife and my granddaughter too. So, you know, actually, I like the way these are working. So, you know, that's the thing. We all want to be in the studio all the time, and we just can't. And it's another thing you have to learn to accept, the reality of when you can make work. And this isn't a competition in the sense of whoever makes the most paintings wins. So don't worry about it, he said to himself while he was worrying about it. So, okay, that was the other little, thought I owed you guys the explanation on why all the stuff that was supposed to happen last week didn't. But she is doing much better. And now my sister has flown in from Colorado. And so I get a little more time. But of course, yesterday and today were school holidays. So my granddaughter has been hanging with us. So, you know, yet another reason not to be in the studio. But, you know, is what it is. You can get mad, or you can just keep your head about you, figure out what you can do creatively, and then just get back into it again when you had the time to be there. And I'm always sketching, and my ideas are always generating. I'm always coming up with something new. My problem in life is that, or in the studio, pretty much in life too, is I have more ideas on what I want to do than I have time to do them. You know, I'm always stunned by people who say they're bored. But that's just me. All right. I'm going to switch to time lapse for the rest of this. We'll see how it goes. Again, thanks for checking in. Follow, like, subscribe. So there it is. Maybe not quite what I set out to create, but and actually looking at it on camera, I think it looks really cool. I'm really happy with it. Just a simple little token. 43 pieces of candy. So just signing it now. "43 years of sweetness," and that is certainly what we've had. 43 years of all kinds of creativity and fun and passion and sorrows and just living a full life. I'm hoping we can do 43 more. Thank you all for taking the time to watch. Again, I really appreciate it. Remember to paint what you love what you paint what you know, and know what you paint. Thank you all so much. Bye now.